आज हम लोग पढ़ने वाले हैं कूलम्ब्स लॉ। और कूलम्ब्स लॉ के बारे में आप लोगों ने जान रखा है, आप लोगों ने देखा हुआ है या सुन भी रखा होगा कि कूलम्ब्स लॉ बेसिकली क्या चीज़ है। कूलम्ब्स लॉ हमें जो बताता है, ठीक है ना। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल I will like to introduce you the Coulomb's law. So let's start. So according to Coulomb's law, let's suppose we have two charges. This is the first charge, suppose Q1, and this is the second charge, suppose Q2. So if we have two charges Q1 and Q2 and the distance or separation between them is R, then according to Coulomb's law, the force between them is directly proportional to the product of the two charges. The force between these two charges will be directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the two charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So we can say that suppose if we increase the magnitude of Q1, then force will also increase. If we increase the magnitude of Q2, then force will also increase. But if we increase the magnitude of R, then the force will decrease. So this is basically Coulomb's law. Now if we more focus upon this topic, then we can say that the Coulomb's law gives the force, and force is a vector quantity. So if we want to solve the questions related with the Coulomb's law, then it is very necessary that we have to know all the rules for vector addition. So let's start and we will see how we can add any vector quantity. So suppose we have two vectors like A vector and B vector. We have two vectors A vector and B vector, and the angle between them is theta. So in this condition, if we have to find the resultant of the two vectors, then we have simple formula: R square equal A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. R square equal A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. So this is the basic formula. If we have two vectors and we have to add, then by simple applying the formula we can find the resultant. Now what about the theta? Theta is nothing but the angle between the two vectors. Okay, so if let's suppose we have another condition in which we didn't know the angle between the angles, then what will we should do? Let's see a case. Suppose this is a vector and we did not any information about the angle. So if we have no information about the angle, then we have to suppose angle. So let's suppose this is angle theta, but always remember that the vector quantity must be in a plane. We consider angle theta and then we can simply resolve the vector as A cos theta and then A sin theta. This is called resolution of vectors. So this resolution method is helpful in that case in which we don't know the angle. In that case we have to consider angle by itself, by ourselves we can say, and by assuming certain angle we can resolve any vector which is in a plane as A cos theta and A sin theta. Now simple, if let's suppose this is Ax and if we suppose this ay, then we simple a equal under root of ax square plus ay square. So here this a is the magnitude or the resultant. So we have two methods basically to solve a vector. First, if we know the angle, then directly we apply formula r square equal a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. And another method is the resolution method, and this method is very helpful in that case whenever we don't know about the angle. So if we don't know angle, then we consider angle and simply resolve one in x-axis, another in y-axis, and we get the resultant as a equal under root ax square plus ay square. Let's see some basic examples of Coulomb's law. Some fundamental examples we will see here. Let's suppose we have two charges. This is of 2 microcoulomb and this is of 4 microcoulomb, and the distance between them is 2 centimeter. This is basic question based on Coulomb's law. So if here we see we have two charges, q1 that is 2 micro 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb, q2 that is 4 micro 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb, and the distance between them, it means r, that is 2 centimeter 10 to the power minus 2 meter. Now here we apply the Coulomb's law. So F equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. Now what is the value of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught? The value is 9 into 10 to the power 9, and q1 2 into 10 to the power minus 6, q2 4 into 10 to the power minus 6 divided by r square. So this will be 2 into 10 to the power minus 2 of square. So it can be rewritten as 9 into 2, it means 18, and 18 into 4, then 72. And what about 10 to the power minus 6 minus 12 and 9? So we have 10 to the power minus 3. Simply the square of 2, that is 4, and the square of 10 to the power minus 2, that is 10 to the power minus 4. So we can simply write it as 72 by 4 into 10 to the power 1, or simply 10. It means we can write it as 720 upon 4 Newton. So this will be answer. So this is the very simple question based on Coulomb's law. Directly we have two charges 2 and 4, and the distance is 2, and the values whatever we have, we put the values in the formula and we get the answer. Now what if we have more than two charges? If we have more than two charges, let's suppose we have one more charge here. Suppose this charge is of 3 microcoulomb, one more charge here. Now what will we have to do? Actually, in such condition, if we have more than two charges, then we have to find force on any one charge out of the 3. So suppose we want to find force on 2 microcoulomb. This is our motto, this is our target. We have to find force on 2 microcoulomb charge. This is our target. So it means this 4 microcoulomb will apply a force on 2 microcoulomb, and the 3 microcoulomb will also apply force on 2 microcoulomb. Distance between these two is 2 centimeter, and let's suppose the distance between 4 and 3 is also 2 centimeter. So here in this question we have two charges which are applying force. One is 4 microcoulomb applying force on 2 microcoulomb, and 3 microcoulomb which is also applying force on 2 microcoulomb. So firstly, suppose this is charge 1, this is charge 2, and this is charge 3. So the the charge 2 will apply force on charge 1. So simple, we have force on charge 1 due to charge 2, and the formula is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r12 square. Here this is 1 2, so q1 q2 and r12. Similarly, the charge 3 will apply force on charge 1. So we have force on charge 1 due to 3, so it is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q3 r13 square. So like this way, now we are going to put the values. So this is value 9 into 10 to the power 9, q1 that is 2 micro minus 6, q2 4 micro minus 6, r12 that is 2 centimeter minus 2 whole square. And similarly here, this is 9 into 10 to the power 9, q1 that is 2 micro, and q3 that is 3 . So this one will be 3 micro and divided by r13. R13 means distance between charge 1 and 3. So this is charge 1, this is charge 3, distance will be 4 centimeter. So it will be 4 centimeter minus 2 and the square. So now we have two forces. First is F12 and second is F13. In such condition, if we have more than one force, two forces or more than two forces, then we have to apply the vector addition. So vector addition I have already discussed. We have two methods if we know the angles or if we don't know the angles. So firstly, we will see in this question, this is positive charge, this is also a positive charge. So because both charges are positive, so it means there will be a force of repulsion. It means we can simply say that the charge 2 will apply a opposing force on charge 1. So charge 1 will move like this way, and this will be the direction on force 1 due to charge 2. This will be direction of force on 1 due to 2. Now similarly, if we talk about the charge 3, this is also a positive charge, so it will also oppose the charge q1 in the same direction. It means like this way. So force on 1 due to charge 3. So this will be the direction. Now these two directions are along the same side. It means 100% we know the angle, and the angle will be 0 degree. If the angle is 0 degree, then what will we have to do? We have to apply a simple formula for resultant. So here I am going to show you to apply the resultant. So the resultant force F can be written as under root F12 square plus F13 square plus 2 f12 f13 cos 0 degree. So the angle is 0 degree, so resultant will be like this way, cos 0 degree, and we know the value of 0 degree. Cos 0 degree is 1, so it will be a square plus b square plus 2ab, and this whole is in under root, so simply we can write down f will be nothing but it will be equal to f12 plus f13. We know the value of f12 and f13, which we have already calculated. This is f12, this is f13. So now when we place these two values here, then we get the answer. So this is the basic question related with the Coulomb's law. So now we will discuss some other questions which are little bit difficult, you can say, but based on basic concepts. Let's see.